What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. I was taking the day easy today. I wasn't going to be doing a ton of videos or a ton of content. And then I got to see this from CARB as they've laid off more employees and they're talking about their massive budget cuts as state of California is realizing, oh, we have to foot the bill here. Yes, they know that they pay for staff, and yes, we've seen the videos where people say the feds don't pay. Look, I don't care. The Fed, no shit. The feds don't pay state employees' salaries, but a lot of the money that they use to do the programs that they do, like replacing engines and getting rid of perfectly fine running diesel engines, those inspection points, and all the other crap, the remote detection, all of that other stuff, that's all funded by the federal government. And it was funded by the EPA. That's over. So now California has to cut back on a lot of the staff so they can try to afford to be able to do what they're doing. Roll the intro. So what is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. Evidently, a lot of people are not happy with the news that CARB is, looking at making CARB compliant brake systems in cars in term. And while they know they may lose all these smog inspections, they're going to start doing safety inspections. This is purely a money grab, right? Because their federal funding and all the funding, the extra funding they were getting for grants and all this other crap that they were getting from the EPA is gone. The Diesel Emission Reduction Act, dead in the water, not moving. And without that funding, there's only one other place they can get that money. They have a finite amount of money to spend on their agency. They have to, take care of purchasing vehicles, equipment, all of that stuff. And if they're going to fund any of these programs that they want to push, well, that means staff are going to have to be cut. You got to find places to save money. And their biggest expense is the salaries they're paying their employees. I had more people email me this morning. I wasn't even going to do another video on this, but they've cut more people again. These people that they cut were doing a lot of the remote emissions testing. And I guess what that means is they put these things out that measure the amount of smog or greenhouse gases from vehicles that are in a specific area. That's their job. And a lot of these people that got let go, that's what they're doing. And I think they're going to continue to do that. You're going to see more and more layoffs from people at CARB because the writing is on the wall. They're not able to do this emissions crap anymore, right? They know that they're not going to be able, regardless of the lawsuit and the 17 states that are jumping on board and dick riding, they're not going to be able to do it. They're going to lose. They know they're losing the emissions fight. They're losing the smog checks. It's done. They're dead in the water. So now they got to find the new scam, and that's why they're doing this with brakes. And they're already looking at how much money they can make for CARB compliant or CARB approved brake pads. Now, brake pads and rotors. The thing that's interesting here is, so I looked at the study, right? They did this study on how in 2020 on how much emissions comes out from brakes. And it is for an agency to say that brakes now are more important than greenhouse gases from cars just shows how much of a hypocrite and how much of a money grab that this crap is. It's literally just a money grab. It's nothing else. Because even if you look at the study, yeah, if you sat next to brakes all day on the highway, like if we sat there and you were huffing in, brake dust, yeah, it's probably bad. You're probably going to get cancer or something else from having all that foreign material in your lungs. But for the average person that's just driving down the highway with their windows open, are they just going to get sick because of brake pads? Is it going to start putting clouds over the city because of brakes? No, come on, man. And their excuse is, well, regenerative braking from EVs. This is why this is their end around. They're trying to find an other way to get back in here for electric vehicles, because electric vehicles are evidently not going to be required to have these CARB brakes because of the regenerative braking. And if you don't know what that is, it's when you get off the gas, the vehicle immediately starts slowing down as it's pulling power back as the wheels spin. It like throws the motor backwards and lets it generate power for the battery. So another EV scam by the state of California, trying to be slick. I'm sure it was one of their dumbass, jackasses in their government's idea to be like, hey, what if we do brakes? I just want to know who brought that up, right? Who is the genius that was like, let's start looking at brakes? Now, I heard that there's a measure or whatever where they're also looking at tires. Newsflash, the tire lobby is massive in California. And especially where some of these CRAs just went through on tires, they can't regulate. Now, that's for the manufacturing of tires, but you could make an argument legally to be like it's for anything to deal with tires in general, right? Not just manufacturing of tires. So I don't think California is going to be able to regulate what kind of tires can be sold or CARB approved tires. Doesn't mean that they wouldn't try. They're just not going to, they can't. They're not going to be able to do it. Brake pads, I think that's going to happen. Mileage tax, even though it's unconstitutional, they're going to try to do it. They're going to make a court shut them down. And we'll see what happens. But I just wanted to bring this news to you because I thought it was interesting as these remote emissions testing people were let go. And that happened this morning. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think CARB is going to continue to lay off more and more employees? I think they will. I think, and it's not going to, that's the thing they're trying to be slick about this. They're doing it at 15 and 20 a time so that it's not big major news that, hey, CARB cut 300 employees today. They're like 15 here, 20 there, 15 here. And you're going to continue to see it probably every week until they get whatever this new brake scam is that they're going to try to get put into place. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Now that they're basically broke and defunded, it's funny to see how they're robbing Peter to pay Paul to try to keep the scam going. Anyways, as always, stay petty, my friends.